Right, you're still here on Joy News Desk. We will go back briefly to the One Ghana march. We understand some violence is broken out there. We'll get in touch with Derek Ekosam, who is a man on the ground, to share with us exactly what is happening. But the Ashanti Regional Minister, Samuel K. Sarpong, and his deputy have been relieved of their duties with immediate effect. It's unclear what influenced President John Mahama's decision, but it's believed some internal party wranglings and rifts could have led to this, where they forced out. Michael Evans Mensah joins me for some analysis. Hello, Evans.
Hello, Kamini.
Evans, thanks for joining us here. But what's been your analysis of all of this?
Essentially, a turf war gone horribly bad for both the minister and his deputy. They've been engaged in this tussle for quite some time now. In fact, things came to a head 2 or 3 days ago. In fact, this happened on Monday when some youth, NDC youth, went to the party headquarters, locked up the place, threatened security, etc. Subsequently, we heard the Ashanti Regional Youth Organ of the party on air accusing the regional minister of being behind the disturbances in the party in the region. Now, the thing is that the Ashanti Regional Minister and the deputy they have succeeded in creating factions, and these factions have already begun some, disturbances that had led to what had happened, a day ago. And the president, obviously, isn't happy with what is happening. In fact, I'm told, my sources in command to tell me that there was a meeting in which it got so bad that the two of them had to be separated at some point. That is how bad it got. And the chief of staff, who fortunately had been there not too long, didn't have any problem at all taking this decision, because it was very obvious that they had to get these two gentlemen out of the way to get the Ashanti regional agenda of winning 1 million votes in 2016 back on track.
Looking at what is happening in the party, the internal wranglings, do we know what could be contributing to the internal wranglings that have led to the sacking of these two?
Well, the thing is, what I've heard my sources say is that before these recent disturbances and the feud, the two of them worked quite perfectly until allegations surfaced that Mr. Yamin, the deputy, allegedly had some dealings with some illegal miners, galamseyers, so to speak. And Mr. Sarpong, the minister, had a tough line when it comes to that. And that, I understand, had led to a certain breakdown in relationship. And most people put their finger on that as the genesis of all this infighting that we saw, pitching the deputy minister against his minister. And that has led to that. But also, the party going forward into the 2016 election is making Ashanti region one of their key constituencies when it comes to winning votes. In fact, they said that they want to win 1 million votes in the region. That is not a stronghold. And there's a lot of focus, a lot of money, and a lot of attention that is being pumped into the Ashanti region. And so it's become an issue of which of these two should spearhead that agenda. And that also led to this confusion that we've seen leading to their dismissal. Essentially, that's what it is. They've been sacked.
But one would also say if the NDC would want to win the votes, like you've said, in the Ashanti region towards the election, Samuel K. Sarpong could be the man. What do you think about the president's swift move to have sacked him from office?
Well, the thing is, though, it got so bad that if you sack, say, the deputy and leave the minister, you won't kill the feud. What they've done essentially is to cut off the hand that is getting rotting and pulling down the body. Just simply cut off these two gentlemen, move them from the scene, bring in fresh blood, so to speak, and let's start afresh. Because as I said earlier, they have camps, they have developed factions. So if you remove one and leave the other, his faction will be there, and that won't solve the problem. If you bring in the other person to come and partner with him, either remove either the deputy or the minister, his faction will be there, and who knows, they might undermine this new person. So the strategy then was remove both of them and bring in fresh people who start afresh this agenda going to 2016. And that is exactly what they've done. And it's a smart move for the new chief of staff. And this is his first official public action. And I think he got it spot on in terms of the decisiveness. And note also that we've not heard that they've been withdrawn and reappointed. Well, so far, that is not what we heard. The statement said they've been withdrawn.
But following it closely, do you see a reappointment happening?
Well, I will be surprised if the new chief of staff decides that his modus operandi will be the same as the one that was sacked for him to get there, who all he did was when ministers get into cross practices allegedly, or there are allegations against them, all they did then under Mr. Bunny was to withdraw him and simply reappoint him somewhere else. If he's going to continue doing that, that will be a big trouble for himself, because the party won't like that. And for me, this decision that he's taking is absolutely spot on, because it creates the impression that he is on top of the issue and he can indeed let the axe fall where it may when people step out of line.
Evans, I'm grateful for your time. Evans Mensah is with a political desk here at Joy News. Well, let's get the situation on the ground. Ashanti regional correspondent Erastus Asare Donko has been following the reactions to the dismissal of the Ashanti regional minister and his deputy. Is joining me now over the telephone. Erastus, thanks for your time too.
Many thanks, Kemini.
What have you gathered so far?
Well, I've been following your interaction with Elvis, and he's spot on. Just what I wanted to add is the bit that when the talks invaded the regional office, there are speculations on the ground that it was ordered by the regional minister. And that is one information that is also coming in. And then this whole brouhaha also started with some bad blood between Mr. Sarpong and the NDC regional executives. In fact, they are not in good terms, all because there is the report also there that he sponsored one of the candidates against the incumbent chairman, and so when the candidate lost, then he has found no favor at all with the executives, and so currently the executives claim they cannot work with him. That is also there. So a whole lot of factors that have built up to where we are currently. In Kumasi, generally, the populace, there are people who remain indifferent. They think that, well, he's the regional minister, whether a new person comes or nobody comes at all, they really do not care, as long as the regional activities go on.
Erastus, we also understand that some scuffle broke out at the party quarters in Kumasi, leading to the locking up of the offices of the party in that area. What's the latest on that issue?
Well, it is true, all these that I have spoken of, that culminated finally in some parts. I understand these are Pasaka boys who stormed the regional office and tried to lock it up. And just as I've heard from reliable sources, these were allegedly on the orders of the Ashanti regional minister, and that is why this decision came up. But there are people who also think that the regional minister is on top of his business, and that they do not agree to him being sort of maligned by his deputy. And so the powers that be think that, well, then this is not good for the business on the ground, so let's scrap the whole too, and let's bring on fresh blood. Now, currently as I speak, there is strong security presence at the regional office of the NDC, because I have learned from the security sources that they think there could be a demonstration or an appraisal by people loyal to the Ashanti regional minister, and so they have mounted some security presence at the Ashanti regional office as we speak. That is being done. There are also signals being picked on the ground that the former deputy regional minister, that is Mr. Yao Adusei, could be brought back as deputy regional minister, and there are also signals I'm picking that the other two remain with some two loyal people to the NDC within the region. But at the end of the day, the decision will hold between the NDC executives, the party foot soldiers, and sympathizers on who will strike a balance for the party within the region.
But speaking to members of the party in the Ashanti region, how do they feel about the sacking of these two?
Well, there are people who know the genesis of this whole thing, starting from the NDC regional elections when they claimed that the Ashanti regional minister supported one candidate, that is the one who is managing the Abinti Market project right now. And when he lost, he found bad blood. There was bad blood between him and the executive. So they feel that, well, that's a great decision taken by the president. They feel that indeed it is the right thing to be done to save the party from this infighting and inner grumblings. And so a lot of people believe that it's a right decision. They feel it's okay, and they want it to go on. But they are also thinking that if the president will bring anybody, it should be a neutral person, somebody who do not have any links on the ground, like favorites, or have any factionalism, so to speak, to run the affairs of the regional coordinating council.
How do they see this influencing the votes they are likely to pick up in the 2016 election as far as the Ashanti region is concerned? How do they see the popularity in the Ashanti region influenced by this?
Well, Kennedy, that's an interesting question. For example, when you talk to people, they feel that the sacked deputy minister commands a certain level of affection on the ground based on, one, his personality, and two, the way he relates to people, the party people on the ground. And so to rally people to certain grounds for party activities, he stands a better chance than Mr. Sarpong. There are also people who think that Mr. Sarpong's relation with the party foot soldiers is good. He helps solve some of their problems, especially financial problems, for example. And so when you go to him, he has a listening ear and he's able to solve your problems for you. So the two, people think that, well, for the party on the ground, they could play various roles in garnering votes for the party come 2016. But they still believe that if the president thinks of another person who is a unifier to be at the helm of affairs of the regional ministry, then definitely he can also help in garnering votes. But if you have some time, I have the communications officer of the NDC, communications officer here with me. I can share just a word, speak his take on what he thinks about what is going on. Well, Mr. Samed Akalilu, we now have the president changing, removing the two. What does it mean for the party's success in getting 1 million votes, as you have said?
Well, thank you very much. What it means is that the president knows what he's doing. What it also means is that the president probably at this particular point in time thinks that they've done their part. They are coming them out to this stage. Probably there's need to bring fresh limbs that all can have a new direction, a new perspective in making sure that they augment the efforts of the regional executive and other bodies within the party to be able.
But what does it mean in new and fresh votes in addition to what you have already?
Well, I think that the decision has just happened. We are doing the introspection. We are just even meet as a regional body. I'm talking about regional executives to find out the next strategy. We've been working with these gentlemen for those 2 years or 1.5 years, depending on who came at what particular point in time. And as I speak, we are a bit, let me say, shocked, but surprised, because a lot of things have been happening over the last couple of weeks.
You think it's a good decision the president took?
The president is right. The president is the commander. The president is the leader of the nation. The president knows what he wants to give to each person at any particular point in time. We cannot go against the president's decision, and we trust in the president in bringing in 2 other persons who will, he believes, can better serve the state of the government. And so we support the president's decision.
Erastus, just before you go, I think we'd want to find out how the NDC in the Ashanti region is going to be dealing with this internal wranglings, which is believed, or which is believed generally to have caused the sacking of the ministers.
Well, you mean the party people?
Indeed. I mean, his communications for the Ashanti Regional Party. How do they intend to deal with their internal wranglings that has caused the sacking of 2 people already?
Okay, so let me ask you this. Currently, we know that there are internal wranglings within the party. And certainly, there is a faction for the 2, and that's how come, as part of the regions, they have been removed. How is the executive going to sort this?
Well, I think that indeed the decision would have been wet. It appears if indeed they were removed based on some of the internal chemistries that we picked so far. The decision would have been wet if one of them was left and the other had gone. It means the other person who has left, the supporters would have been agitating. And now that both of them don't seem to be at the helm of affairs in the region, I think that it provides another platform for us to forge on, to bring all of them together. Probably that could be part of the decision the president has taken, to bring fresh links that will not have much problems with either faction, to be able to rally all of them and galvanize all of them around for us to move on in getting the 1 million votes. So for me, once either of the factions don't have somebody up there as their representative or more or less as their boss or whatever you want to call it, that it provides another opportunity for somebody to unify, or somebody who is neutral, if you like, to be able to tell all of them and galvanize them towards our 1 million votes that we want to achieve in the region.
Okay, so there you have it.
Erastus, I'm grateful for your time. Erastus Asari Donko joined us from the Ashanti region, where both regional minister and deputy have been sacked and relieved of their duties with immediate effect from the presidency. Now.